want to fix it. It's past 7.
So yeah, my entire family came over there, like my aunt, my uncle, and they're all super close because of it now too. And I was the first person in like my extended family or anything to be born in America. So
So
yeah.
when they came over here, what was their situation? Was it hard? Do you know? Have you heard the stories?
Yeah, they for a little bit they had to like they were struggling for a little bit, which I'm sure happens for anyone that immigrates to America. And then eventually like because my dad had like an engineering degree and he was certified, and then as soon as he like you get your feet on the ground and you got like an engineering job, things were looking up. So yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's super cool.
Thank you.
So,
And it's also Andrea as well.
Andrea. So I
Andrea.
botched it again.
Yeah, yeah.
It's okay.
I'm
wanted
just
to
gonna
say there.
I'm just gonna claim it. I'll just never get it right, Andrea. Okay, so cool. Wow, that's an amazing story. So, have you been back there?
When I was super, super little, yeah, I've been back there, but I haven't gone recently, but I think I was planning to this summer, but
But
it kind of all fell
And things
apart.
change.
okay, so where are you at right now? Talk to us about your life and where you're at mentally.
I'm actually kind of doing pretty good. Like, I think quarantine is kind of a sucky situation to be put in, but I feel like I did pretty good trying to make the most out of it
Hmm.
because I was able to, I like before quarantine started and I was back in school, I was kind of at like a 10 constantly and I was super stressed all the time and I was just constantly working. So I feel like I was like super excited for spring break in general because that was going to be my break that I would just be like I'm not going to do anything, I'm not going to touch anything, I'm just going to relax before like insanity of like end of year testing happens. Um, but then quarantine happened and a bunch of stuff got canceled. So I was able to like take a little time for myself to just de-stress. And then also I was able to kind of teach myself how to balance what I need to do in like my professional work, school life, and like the things that I actually enjoy doing. So I think that's the best thing that happened out of quarantine is trying to find this balance. And now it's even better because the one thing that I hated about quarantine was not being able to see like anyone I really cared about, so like my friends and my family and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
now that that's like not really a thing anymore, I'm just living life. Like
that's awesome. So what did you tap into that you were missing out on the things that you love doing?
one like kind of little thing that I started doing is I'm like a total cinephile and I haven't watched a movie in so long and it made me really sad. So like every night, at least like once a week, I would go with my parents and we would watch a movie at night and it'd have to be like a new movie every night
Yeah.
and it was just like little stuff like that. And then I've always really wanted to like write just like a little short film script. Like that's like one of the recent things that I was like I'm going to do this. And me and my friend both want to kind of make a movie by the end of the summer.
Nice.
So the thing that I've been doing is trying to write the script for the movie that we were planning on making.
How far along are you on the script?
Not very. I have like I have put a lot of thought into like the characters and what I wanted the plot to be like. And at that point, I was just kind of like, I think I'm just gonna write. I'm about a scene or two into it though, so.
Okay, right on. So from a cinephile here, what are the top 3 movies that you've seen over quarantine? I'm gonna write these down.
Ooh. Um, so I watched a movie that's on Netflix called Ex Machina because I heard it was really, really good and I was not disappointed by it. It kind of talks about it focuses a lot about like AI and what would happen if we were successfully to like make artificial intelligence and how like that being would act and what that would mean for like human beings in general.
Is this
But
a movie or a documentary?
it's a movie and it's like a super isolated movie. There's like 3 or 4 people in the entire cast. The entire thing happens in like the middle of nowhere
Hmm.
in this house, and like Oscar Isaac is one of the actors and I love him. I think he's super talented. And it's such an interesting movie. There's like tension throughout it. It kind of reminds me of like a Stanley Kubrick film where like there's like weird tonal shifts at certain points, but like all constantly like there's this like air of like tension and it's just so good. And then I also watched Inside Llewyn Davis. That movie's really depressing, but it was really, really well done. And I love
Hmm.
the Coen brothers. I think they're super talented writers. But Yeah, it was a really well done movie. It's just not a movie to watch when you're in like a really good mood and you want to stay in a really good mood. Um, and hmm, I got around to watching Hereditary, which I never thought I would do because I'm not a very big horror movie fan. But then I kind of like plopped it in at like middle of the day in my room, just like safely, and it ended up being really good. I thought it was really well done.
Okay, good. Well, thank you. The top three movies for quarantine here. Well, I'm gonna check at least one of these out for sure. Um, yeah, thank you, Joey. All right, so talk to us about how you found Deering Acting Studio and what your experience has been like here.
It was kind of weird. I was actually on vacation one summer and I was taking acting classes previously at another studio, and I felt like I was kind of getting into a rhythm and I wasn't really gaining anything anymore. And I wanted to challenge myself and really like tap into like technique acting, because the other studio was really good, but it talked more about like the industry in Hollywood, which is great, but I really wanted to get another perspective on like critiques of like just acting.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going through and I was looking for like acting studios, and then I saw that one of my friends went here, or one of the people that I used to be really good friends with went here, and I did a little bit of research, and then I just kind of decided like, oh yeah, I'm gonna give it a shot, and then from that point forward, it was like the best thing ever. So I stayed.
Awesome. Yeah, you've been here what, almost 2 years now, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool. Really awesome. Um, all right, so and you're a Sandra Day girl, yeah?
Yeah, I am.
That's how you know Brooke, I guess?
um, Brooke
Right?
Mueller.
Yeah.
I know Isabel Ramirez. She was the one
Oh,
who.
Isabel, that's right. She's the one that goes to Sandra Day. Yeah, okay. So are you still in high school too?
Hmm.
What year are you?
I'm going into senior year.
Okay, all right.
Woo!
So that's a really good school. I mean, they're raising some good kids, it looks like.
I love it over there. I think it's great.
Is that the place we went and spoke at, Brian?
I don't think so.
No.
No.
Okay.
We went somewhere.
Because it sounds like it's like a similar type thing where they go into vocational work early on, right? That's kind of the point of the school?
Kind of, yeah.
Like you get to sort of narrow down on things early.
Yeah, in a way. It's like very I know that like one thing that I was super excited about is they're very arts orientated. So their arts department is super super good. And then they're very accommodating to like where you are academically. So like if you're not challenged in like a math class, like you can get bumped up. You have like the resources to be able to like take a class over summer and then just like bump yourself up the next year. So
Nice. That's cool. Awesome. Well, yeah, we'll root for the Eagles.
yeah.
So we can see you on Netflix, is that right?
Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime on what is this? This is a film
It's a short film. It's called Sons. Yeah.
called Sons, and you play the role of Amy.
Mhm.
That's cool, and it's on there right now.
Yeah.
That's got to be another one of our favorite movies over quarantine, right?
Just watching yourself over and over.
um, all right, good. And then so you've been doing some theater roles. That's great. And so you're just in an overall happy space right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, thrilled. Okay, so what questions you got for me?
Okay. So because quarantine kind of interrupted all summer plans for me. And one thing that I had that I was super excited for is I was going to be in this little showcase that would invite a bunch of agents, like a bunch of agents would be there, and some agents from California and LA in particular would be there. And I was really looking forward to it because I have an agent here in Arizona, but I wanted to, at least by like the point of graduation, to get an agent in California,
Hmm.
because I know if I really want to go into like the industry and stuff like that and like go into Hollywood, I would need an agent over there because Arizona's mostly commercial work. But because the showcase got canceled and all of this, I'm very like I'm I'm kind of in a place where I'm stuck and I don't really know what to do to put myself out there to be seen by agents in Hollywood and LA and stuff like that. So is there any advice for applying to agencies like out of state?
Yeah, my advice actually is to try to get work out there if you can. So, what you might look into doing instead is go on to their version or one of the casting sites
Hmm.
and audition for student films and short films that are in the market you want to be in. So
Right.
you can audition nationwide now, but let's say you want to go to LA specifically, go go dip your toe in that market and send in video audition and then get a call back, maybe go out there for a call back. And then if you can land one of those films, you can start building up relationships in that town. I think that the showcase thing, like, it can work for you, but I've seen a lot of people that, they go and do those things, and even if they get an agent, it doesn't really do anything for you necessarily.
It's hit or miss.
It's hit or miss.
100%.
Yeah. So it could be cool, but I don't know. It's one of those things that I've seen very mixed results on. So I think at the end of the day, talent trumps everything else always. And so if you just keep grinding and you keep preparing yourself, when it's time for you to go to LA, you'll be ready. You'll have the skill set to back it up. And ideally, you want to put yourself in a position where you don't really need the agent. You've got two or three agents that are fighting to sign you, and that would be the goal. So you look at it the other direction and you go, okay, what do I have to do to get so good that they're going to fight over me?
Right.
And you know what? We talked about this on yesterday's show too. I think part of that is also gathering, and you talk about it in the book too, the business end of your stuff right now in this time and getting a lot of that stuff set. So like even like with the stuff you already have, just gathering it and setting it up in a way that when it's time to present it to those people, that you have just a really clean presentation that separates you from everybody else.
Yeah, yeah, totally true. And that goes into the idea of, if you, let's say you land in the next year 3 short films in LA, and you go out there and you go do them. And it could be student films. Like, let's say one of them's at USC and one of them's at a different school, one of them's at even a high school. Like, who cares? You go out there and you just do the work, and you start to build up a resume of films that are in that market. Then all of a sudden you have LA names, you have LA locations on your resume, and you're building up that part of your business portfolio, because you should be keeping in touch with every relationship you make for your business, for the acting business part of it. So every director you work with, every producer, you gather all their contact information, and those are people that you keep in touch with, and you send, emails every now and then too, and you follow up with phone calls, and you keep the relationship alive, so that when these student filmmakers or short filmmakers come up, they remember you and you remember them, and hopefully you keep building relationships in that way, so that you put yourself in a position where 2 years from now, when they're doing bigger, better things, you're ready and prepared, and you're doing bigger, better things, but they already know about you.
Right. Yeah. I was able to, the one thing that I did is I stay in touch with like the people who were involved in that short film that I did, like the little one that I did here locally.
Yeah,
So
that's great. And think about it, like, so that short film you said is on Amazon Prime, right?
Mhm.
So how cool is that? I mean, I'm telling you right now, there are plenty of actors in LA that wish they were on Amazon Prime. Like, they wish they had a spot on there. So, and this is the whole deal that I talk about, where geography is becoming less and less important when it comes to acting, but it's always been a case where the people who are truly successful, they find their own niche path. So your path may very well be LA, and I'm not going to discourage you from that. I think you should do it if you're feeling called to go there. That's great. But just understand that there's a lot of ways to get toward your dreams. You just have to be very specific about what you want. Because you might be like, oh, I'm going to go to LA because I want to be on Amazon. Well, you've already done that locally, So you got to be really specific with your goals and make sure that they're all skill-based, so that you put yourself in a position where you are skillful, not, lucky or famous. And then your skills will back it up, and you can get as many gigs as possible within your skill set. And that's how you just be very honest with where you are and where you want to be.
right. And I think that'll help because like the big goal that I have is that I want to like get to the point where I don't just take parts for the sake of like getting a part. Like I can actually take parts that I genuinely care about and like that spoke to me and hopefully like do justice to them. So I feel like if I approach it that way, it'll help me a lot with like being able to not select is kind of like a weird word to use, but to like kind of be selective about the parts that I choose and only do the parts that I know that I care about and that I can bring justice to.
Yeah, 100%. And honestly, you can start doing that now. Start drawing the line and then make some of those decisions, and you're already doing it because you're creating your own content as well. So like that's a really good thing. You got to follow through with that. Finish writing the script, produce it, and by the way, it might not be good. That's okay. Like finish it. You know what I mean? Finish it to completion. Put it out there. If you need to take it down at some point because you become super famous and your agent says, "Hey, we take down that short film," like that's fine. But it's all a part of your journey and your progress. So, and by the way, the film might be awesome too. Like who knows? But the key is like that's something that you hopefully would be really passionate about because you wrote it. And so you create this film and then you go, boom, what's the next one? Boom, what's the next one? And you start attracting more of those gigs.
I'm fully prepared for it to not be like the greatest movie, but because I heard that like first films are never amazing in any way, but I really want to learn from it.
There
Like
you
that's
go.
like the main goal that I have for this is I really want to learn from it because I'm super into like the backgrounds of filmmaking and all the like behind the scenes stuff. So
Yeah, that's
I
cool.
have,
And so what you want to do is when you've written your film, then look at the different scenes that you've written and then think about how do I want this to feel? Start there. And then go, okay, what other movie makes me feel that way? And you're a cinephile, so it should be easy. You just go through your Rolodex in your mind and go, this movie makes me feel that way. So then go through and watch the movie differently, not as an observer and not as an actor, but as a filmmaker, and go, what did they do? What camera moves did they use? What lighting did they use? Like, how did they make me feel the way that I felt when I watched this one scene? That's similar to how I want the audience to feel during this scene in my movie. So then you study that, and then you write down, you jot down all the notes as far as like, okay, somehow they moved the camera from here into here for this close up, and they made the background kind of shift. How'd they do that? Look it up on Google, and next thing you know, you're starting to create a shot list that can get you closer and closer. The reason why a lot of student films are not great when they first start is because they either like quit halfway through and then start up again, so it's like really inconsistent. That's one thing. And two is like it's usually just a small mistake, like something where the sound wasn't perfect or something on a particular scene or a particular shoot day or something, and then all of a sudden like it's just not like even across. But you know, who knows? Like you really could you could write a smash hit and produce it, and who knows? But the point is that like you have the right mindset, is that you're just going in to learn and to get better and to grow.
Yeah.
me and my friend that oh I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. I was gonna say it's just like the way you approach your acting, you know. And each one of these you do, the more you do it, you're just gonna keep getting better and better and better at it. Because like, and then you'll look at your first one, like we look back at our like some of our first Valleywoods we did, which is the movie camp we make, and we just laugh at it. It's like it's crazy, but we literally did the best we could at that time. And so as long as you're doing that, that's something that you'll love to look back on and grow from.
All right, what's your next question?
I'm a very much like an overthinking type A personality person. Like everything that I do, I always think like I have like a really bad tendency to think 10 steps ahead, like way more ahead than is necessary. And I kind of dwell on the past a lot. And this year I've learned a lot about living in the moment, but I know I'm not good at it. And I learned through like watching because I'm friends with a lot of people that are very much like live in the moment, just enjoy now. So I was able to like subconsciously pick up on how to live life like that through them because I spend time with them. But do you have any advice for how to like make that a regular for my life so I don't overkill and like overstress myself all the time just trying to think about what I need to do and what I have done and what I could have done better and what how to like do the thing that I need to do better.
Yeah, so I think some of that is actually good. So I don't want to discourage you from having those feelings and those thoughts, because I think the constant battle to get better is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
The key is hopefully to reflect on both the good and the bad. So if you forget to focus on the good, then you won't, like, it's good to look at your progress and give yourself a win, give yourself a pat on the back, and it's acknowledge that you're getting better. That's a good thing. And then it's healthy in that way then to say, but I could still get better. And what could I have done better? And I think those are really good questions to ask yourself. But at the same time, celebrate the win. Celebrate the fact that you are further along than you were. And as long as you're getting better, as long as you're moving forward, that should be where the happiness lives. And I think I said this a couple days ago, but one of the keys I think for overachievers and people that are like very focused and always wanting to like hit their goal is to realize that the fun time and the time to relax and to wind down, if you can just make that a part of your work, if you can see it that way, that you have a duty, you have a job, and you have to actually put time and thought into winding down, because that maybe fills up your bucket, and then you can actually push harder. Then you can celebrate like the downtime and be cool with that without having it be a stressful situation.
I think Brian said something super similar during teen quarantine, and I started to try to like imply it to my life to make relaxation and me time like a necessity. It's not just something that I do if I have time to do it. And I think it's kind of helped with the whole quarantine de-stressing thing.
Yeah, that's cool. And I'm glad that worked out for you and you got to be on that show, because, Brian's great at just relaxing. He's great at the downtime part.
Yeah, I'm like the best at downtime. I need to work on the other side, so...
Sundays are Brian's day.
Yeah. But that's a good thing. It's a good thing to have a day. It's a good thing to have something, but the key is to really schedule it, just to make it a part of your work. That way it doesn't get out of control. I think that's where we get ourselves in trouble always. And I'm including myself in this, of course. But if you don't have a plan, that's when you end up in the endless scroll game on your phone, or you end up down the YouTube wormhole because you didn't have an absolute plan and you didn't have what comes next. So because that's not there, then you get stuck in something you didn't want to get stuck into, and the time goes by, and then that's when you start to feel the guilt. That's when you start to feel the shame. That's when you start to feel the stress, and you're like, oh, I coulda, woulda, shoulda used this hour better. Well, yeah, that's true. So it all goes back to better preparation. And like, it's okay to scroll for 30 minutes or whatever if you've planned it. And you said, hey, during my week on Fridays, I from 11 to 11:30, I just scroll mindlessly because I like doing that. It's fun for me. Cool. But if you do it all the time without thinking, and you just let a half hour go by throughout your entire week, and you're sort of out of control, then you're going to start to feel bad about that thing.
Right. TikTok's been my mindless scrolling one, and I never thought I'd say that, but I like caved over quarantine. I was like, oh, I'll give it a shot. And then it was actually funny, and I was like, huh.
Uh-oh, the addiction has begun. The TikTok addiction.
That is, there are so many people who had that happen over quarantine. Like, they were like, nah, never. And then all of a sudden, like, yeah, I'm all over this.
And Brian's like, I was already all over it, man. I love it.
Yeah, I really do. I love that thing.
I was like, never gonna be me, never gonna happen. And then like 3 weeks in, and I was like, maybe,
because it's such a funny name too, TikTok. Until you get used to it, it's like really, it's weird, and then you're like, all right, well, I guess it's a thing now. So
I never got too crazy like into it, but it's pretty funny because Brian and Shay, it was the same way, where she said like, oh, I'll never get it, and then she got it, and now she's on it
all the time.
all the time. And she always wants to make deering TikToks. It's so funny.
Well, see, that's what's interesting though. I love that. Like if you're producing and putting out, I think that's really cool. It's just the idea of getting stuck on there, being the observer who like, why is TikTok the way that it is? They found some new algorithm, I promise you, where they knew that at a certain second, that's when the brain triggers to the next thing. And so we all get shocked, and we go to the next thing and the next thing, and before you know it, it's like, it's only 7 seconds. No, that just took me 3 hours, And that's where you have to be careful, because I'm reading this book right now called Hooked, and the guy talks about it because he went to Stanford Business School, and he actually studied this stuff and helped companies develop products that make you addicted, like Facebook. and like Instagram and like TikTok. Like they do it on purpose because they want you to get hooked on their thing for life. Like they want lifers out of you. So as long as you acknowledge that and you know it, you can use it for good, but you should be very careful because they're out to get you. All of them.
It's a dangerous game.
It is. They want you to be hooked, and they want you to be hooked for life.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
It's a dangerous game, that TikTok. All right, what's next on the docket here?
Hang on, I have to check too.
Something about auditioning, I think. Yeah.
Right. So I've been very much the most auditioning I've done, or like the most predominant auditioning I've done, has been high school auditioning, and I've been auditioning outside of high school too. And I think the fact that I have high school auditions kind of softens the blow of me not getting a ton of parts outside of high school. So I think that like I'm like, okay, nothing's working there, but I still have this for me. So I'm kind of nervous, excited for life beyond high school, where I don't have this reliance or like this like kind of guarantee that I can be part of like a production or a show or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So like college auditions and just like the auditions in the industry and stuff like that. So do you have like, is there any tips or tricks for how to handle college auditions and like bigger short film auditions and possibly like any of those kind of stuff in the future?
Well, you sort of hit it on the head. I mean, they're no longer guaranteed. That's harder. The competition gets harder. It's the same thing when you move to a bigger market. You're going to be going up against more competition, better competition constantly. And so the idea is really you just got to get better and you got to do more of them. So for every high school audition, let's just say once you get to a certain age or something, it's guarantee. So it's like, okay, if I audition, I get a part. That's 100%. Well, that 100% immediately goes down from 100 to like 5. And then that's okay. That just means, all right, so how many auditions do I need to go on? I need to go on 50 auditions or something and before I get my one. And if you put your mind on it that way, then the game becomes, let me just audition. Let me audition as many times as I can for the sake of auditioning, for the sake of getting better at auditioning. That's the purpose for why I'm going to audition. Then you'll end up landing a bunch of gigs accidentally because you weren't trying to land the gig. So you didn't put that kind of pressure on yourself. You'll just be going to get better. And then they're going to be like, oh, this girl's great. And then you're going to get cast.
I kind of noticed that trend too. I feel like if I go into like any kind of audition with this mindset of at least I'll like get experience from this, whatever happens, but like I can like have fun with this and just kind of grow from whatever experience I get from it. And those auditions typically end up going the best. It's like the ones that are like, it's the ones that have really high stakes. So like the highest stake audition I had so far was one that if I got the part, I would be eligible for union certification, and I was stressed about that one so much.
Yeah, and we put these stakes on ourselves. You know, it's like when you read the audition and it says this one's worth 10 grand. It's hard to get that out of your head because you're going like, oh, you start spending the money in your mind. Yeah, and the truth is, it's really not like you're doing that to yourself. It's not any different than your high school audition. It's just a matter of at your high school audition, you're relaxed. Because in some ways you don't care. In some ways it's like, I'm gonna get a part anyway. Yeah, maybe I'd like to get the lead, but like I know everybody, so it's cool. I'll just go in there and have fun. And then you knock it out of the park. And it's so hard to have that kind of relaxed, laid back attitude when it feels like there's more on the line. Mm-hmm. What were you gonna say, Brian? You had something to add there?
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, as you get closer, because you also asked, like, really how to, honestly, just shameless plug to Matt here. Matt's really good at this, with helping people with these college auditions specifically. I know you've done it with a lot of students in the past who've been doing it for years, because it's a very different type of audition even. Like, the way they audition, the way they like, certain schools, like, literally time you to the dot, like, literally second by second. And so as it gets closer, I just wanted to throw out a recommendation that at some point I would get a private lesson with this guy before you do your auditions. So even if it's just one, I think it'd be extremely helpful for you.
I would love that.
And read the book. You read it yet?
I didn't read it yet. No, I haven't gotten it.
Oh, you need
Is
to
it
do
on
that.
Amazon?
So what's interesting is that it's on Amazon. A lot of the answers to your questions too are right in there. So I think it'd be highly valuable to you if you're sincerely wanting to do this for a living, like this be, if you want to make acting your day job, get the book, because I mean it's like step by step. I have like worksheets and everything for you to fill out, and it takes a lot of the fear out of this, because I have seen, I mean I've worked with famous people, I've worked with people that were already successful before they came to me, and I've worked with people who were just like brand new to the industry, and then did something with it, and it, in either direction, it always came down to work ethic, always. So the people who were the most famous who came in to see me, they worked the hardest and had been working the hardest for longer than anyone I had ever met. And so they made me raise my game as a teacher, because it was like, dang, to keep up with this person and to have them want me to keep training them, I actually have to get better, which is exciting for me. So just know that at the end of the day, it's all about work. But the book, what I do is I lay out just like systematically, like do this. Here's how you get yourself out there. Here's how you track it. Here's how you create a progress report. Here's how you deal with all the naysayers. Like there's going to be a lot of things that get in your way, but if you have a formula, like a business plan, and you treat it like a business, and you stick with it long enough, you'll make it.
I think that's a really interesting way to view it. I kind of like that a lot. Like viewing it as like a business, because it is kind of like your own like small business that you're running.
That's exactly what it is. They call it show business, and for a reason. It is a business, and people want you in their thing if they think that they're going to make money off you or make something successful because of you. It is a business straight up. So you have to, if you don't think of it that way and you just have stars in your eyes, you're not going to make it. Like you have to understand that there's a business side to acting, and that's a positive thing. Like that's a good thing that goes in your favor, because there are millions of people that are making a living, a good living, acting, that you don't know who their name is. You might not even recognize them on the street. But they make a living doing this and doing what they love day in and day out. And if you want to be one of those people, there's a way to do it. You just have to systematically put yourself through the paces. Now, the people who are going to be like your Daniel Day-Lewis and your Tom Hanks and your like just like next level A-list actors, those are rare. Those are just like that little like spark, like something happens. Sometimes people do have that like big it factor, but that's the same thing in anything. There are super geniuses in the world. There are like the Michael Jordans and LeBron Jameses of the world who have like super strength, and now they still have to work extremely hard. But could I do, even if I put in the same amount of work as LeBron James, there's no way that I could do what he does on the basketball court. It's not possible. Even if we went, exact same workouts, exact same everything from the day we were born, he would be a better player than me. But so he has that sort of star quality in his genre. But having said that, there's a lot of players out there that are not LeBron James who get to do what they love because of their work ethic. Let's take Muggsy Bogues, for instance. He's like a super short basketball player, or Spud Webb, like these guys who just put in the work and they just showed up, became all-stars in a sport that they didn't really belong in, and that's inspiring.
And those aren't made-up names you just said?
I was about to say that, yeah. That sounded...
You guys never heard of Muggsy Bogues and Spud Webb?
Those sound like something that would totally happen on the improv stage. Am I right? Like it just...
Yeah. I mean,
dude, Spud Webb won the slam dunk contest back in the day, bro.
Spud Webb, but I haven't heard of Muggsy Bogues.
Muggsy Bogues, bro. Yeah, look it up. He's
all right.
Yeah.
So what you're trying to tell Andrea is if she wants to make
Andrea. Come on,
man,
Joey.
we are all
you
gonna
guys.
Andrea.
Come on.
How many times have I told you this? Like, get the name
Oh,
right.
you be quiet.
You Sweeney boys can't get it right. It's unbelievable.
Wow.
This
I
guy.
am being called out over here. Okay.
What I'm trying to tell Andrea, go ahead.
Andrea is that if she wants to make acting her day job, she should read Acting Is My Day Job.
That's right, Joey. Very good. Good
okay.
plug.
Okay.
All right, so how do we follow Andrea?
Yeah.
Joey?
Oh, okay. I got you.
That's your job,
I
bro.
got you. All right.
That's your part. That's your part of the
She's
show.
enjoying this very much.
On YouTube, you can find her at Andrea VRCELJ.
Do you want my glasses or?
And then I don't know. Should I like? This is a hard one because I don't want to like pronounce it wrong, but I also need to spell it because people like are
You
gonna
should
look
spell
it
it.
up.
You should.
Yeah. And then she has no Facebook. On Instagram, she is at Andrea_0405. Snapchat is Andrea.04050. And then TikTok is at Andrea.04050. So
This is the
So,
longest
yeah.
part of the show. Like it was a half-hour show. Now it's an hour.
hey,
long
I got
show.
it. I get it right though. I
I'm just
got
curious-
Each of those right.
What-
I'm not gonna be upset about it.
What's with the 0405? What is?
They're always my lucky numbers. I don't know. They've like always been. I feel like I've always felt really lucky if it was a 4 or a 5. So anytime that my username is taken, I'm like, oh, out of 4, and if that's taken, out of 5. Like,
Awesome.
I feel that. I I found 2365 as a child, and I used it in
As a
all my
child.
usernames.
As a child, when I was,
When I was a
a child.
child.
When I was
little-
a child,
little boy.
when I was a little kid in the Berg.
In Wickenburg, Arizona.
The
All right,
Berg.
any shout outs you want to give Andrea before we wrap up?
my mom, who I think is watching this. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hi.
Hi.
Is that it? Just
Yeah,
Mom?
that's my shout
Who's
out. My
Mom?
mom.
All right. We got to practice your acceptance speech. We'll work on that. Thanks so much for being on the show. You're a delight.
you for
You're a
having
wonderful,
me.
wonderful person. We sure are so excited for your success and your future. And what an amazing story your parents have. You know, be inspired by that your whole life because, you know, for them to immigrate here and be as successful as they are and raise a daughter such as yourself here in the States, you know, they're doing something right. So you keep
They're
up
my
that
heroes. Yeah,
you
I
keep
love
up
them.
that hard work, you know, and you're going to go places, we promise.
Thank you so much.
All right. God
Thanks
bless.
for having me.
You're welcome. Absolutely. All right. Thank you all so much for watching. This has been Mornings with Matt. Please do not forget to like and subscribe to this channel. We need those subscriptions to keep putting out this light-driven content. Thank you so much, and God bless.
Thanks for listening to Mornings with Matt. Please like, subscribe, and follow us at Deering Acting Studio to keep up with the latest content. For more information on classes, private lessons, or professional development coaching, visit www.deeringstudio.com. Have a Deering day, everyone.